Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to walk you through my process of editing photos. I've got one in particular that we're going to open up in Lightroom. We're going to do some basic adjustments there. We're going to move on to Photoshop, and I've got a few things that I want to show you in Photoshop as well. Yeah, let's just jump in. Alright guys, so here's a picture I took at a park a few miles away from my house. It sits right along a river. It's a nice little park. Took this photo with a Pentax K5 camera. It's a crop sensor camera. And I believe I used a kit lens on this. So let's see. We first want to come up here to lens corrections, and we want to remove the chromatic aberrations. Okay, so we'll just click that, and then we'll click on the enable profile correction. That'll load a lens profile. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come up to the basic panel. I'm going to point over the whites, hold down my shift key, and double click on that word whites. And we're going to do the same thing for the blacks. Okay, so in my opinion that brought the whites value up way too much, so we're going to bring that back down a little bit, say about plus 50. So now I want to work with my sky, brighten up the foreground, so we're going to bring down the highlights and watch what that does to the sky. That's just amazing to me every time I see it. Alright, now the shadows, I'm going to bring those up. I'm not going to take them up all the way. Yeah, maybe I am. I'm going to bring them up to 100. Going to bring them up all the way, open up those shadows quite a bit. Alright, so that's all that I'm going to do in Lightroom for now. So I'm going to right click on the photo. I'm going to come down to Edit In, and we will edit this in Photoshop. Alright, so now we're opened in Photoshop. Let's close this file. I don't need that. So the first thing I want to do, I want to crop this down. I don't like the balance of this, so we're going to crop this. Alright, so about there. That puts that in the center, which isn't necessarily ideal, but that's what we've got. So we'll double click that. Here's our new image. Alright, so I want to view that. I want to fit that to the screen. So in order to do that, we hit Control 0, okay? Control 0, that puts it right on the screen. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've got, let me change that. If you look here, I've got a spot there, I've got a spot down here. I believe those were actually birds, so I won't hold it against them, but we're going to take them out of there. Right, like that, like that. That was with our healing tool. Okay, so now if we view this at 100%, come up here, you can see there's some noise in this photo here, and we want to get rid of that. So we're going to go back to fit on screen. I want to go to filter. I've got a denoise plugin that I absolutely love. It's Topaz Denoise. So we'll just click that, open it up. You can use any denoiser. You can use the built-in denoiser in Photoshop if you'd like, but I prefer this. Alright, so we'll give it a few seconds to work its magic. It's down here updating, and it's updated. Once that bar turns green, then that's what you're going to get. Now if you look, I have it set to clear. Okay, what that does, that adds a little clarity and perceived sharpness to the image. Also removes noise out of skies, out of most places there's noise. This plugin does a really good job. Okay, so I do like what that did. I'm going to hit apply, and we got to wait for a few minutes, well, a few seconds. Alright, there we go. It's opened back up in Photoshop. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here, and we're going to open my actions. I'm going to add an Orton effect. Like I said, this was shot on the Pentax K5. We'll go ahead and play that action. We'll bring this down to around 30%. Okay, and you look, see what that does to the image. It kind of softens the edges. It adds a bit of a glow to things. Okay. Now let's close, or let's flatten that down. I shouldn't say close. Now I'm going to open it up in Camera Raw Filter. There's a few things that we're going to do in here. First, I want to bring down the highlights again for that sky, darken that sky up a little bit more. We're going to bring up the shadows. Okay, I want to be able to see what's in the photo. Okay, now we're going to mess with this sky a little bit. So we're going to come up here to the mask button and we're going to select sky. That will automatically mask the sky for us. Okay. And there we go. So now if we take that exposure and bring it down, make that sky a little darker. I'm going to bring up the highlights a little bit, not a lot. We're going to crank up the temperature of that sky, make it more yellow. Bring up the whites. We're going to bring down the blacks. We're going to make that sky look a little more ominous, right? Okay, and we'll bring up the contrast. Okay, but if you look, it didn't select the whole sky. So in the trees there, I've got some areas that did not correct with the rest of the sky. So I'm going to fix that. We're going to hit the shift button. That gives us the intersect option, okay? And we're going to intersect that with a linear gradient. So we take and we drag our gradient down, bring the whole thing down, and there we go. That kind of corrects that for us. Alright, I like that. Alright, so I think I'm done in Camera Raw for now. So we're going to click OK, bring it back into Photoshop. And I'm not completely satisfied with that sky. So I'm going to go back in and I am going to select my sky. Okay, and that'll put our marching ants up around the sky and make a selection for us. So now I want to go to Layer. I want to make a new layer via Copy. Okay, so that just copies that into a new layer. It leaves the foreground out. Okay, so we're going to close that foreground off. We're going to come up here. We're going to apply a curves layer to this. And I just want a simple S curve in here. Okay, something like that. Really bring out the drama in that sky. Make that center point right there. Okay, so I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and slide that over. We're going to right click on layer 1. We're going to come down to merge visible. Remember, the background layer is not set to visible right now, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Open that up and look at the difference that made. Okay, so let's go ahead and flatten that down because we're going to open that up in Camera Raw again. So we go to Filters, we go back to Camera Raw. And let it take its time and think. Okay. So, my sky looks pretty good, but my foreground, at this point now, it needs a little bit of work to match what's going on in the sky. So we're going to go into the masks. We're going to hit the sky. Let it select the sky. That's fine, because we'll fix that. We're going to say, we're going to hit these 3 buttons here, come down and invert mask. So that'll select the opposite of what you had selected. Okay, so now with this, we're going to bring down our exposure just a hair, bring up the contrast just a hair. I want to bring out the shadows. Okay, we're going to bring up the whites a little bit, and we're going to drop the blacks. Okay, so I like that a lot. It's dark, but that's fine. We're going to take the temperature slider, we're going to slide it over towards the yellows. And we're going to add a little bit of magenta to it as well. Okay. Now we're going to boost the saturation just a little bit. We're going to slide down here and we're going to do about the same thing with the curves. And just play with that a little bit. Take that back up a little. Alright, about right there. So we're going to say, we're going to go back in here, go back to the global adjustments, and we will up the exposure a hair. up the shadows. And again, bring down the blacks a little bit. So that's looking pretty good. I like that image. Oh, I see something else. Okay. That's fine though. We're going to hit effects. And we are going to give it, a negative 15 for vignette. Okay. So we click OK. That'll add the vignette to it. Now I did notice I've got a branch sticking out here that I don't like. So we're going to just use our healing brush. Take that sucker right out of there. Alright, and bam, it's gone. Okay, so I like this image. I'm ready to, well, almost. Look at that, I saw something else here. Got a couple spots that are just glowing at me, and I don't like that. Not sure what that is, but there we go. They're gone now. Alright, so now I'm going to take File, and I'm going to go to Save. And what that'll do, that'll pop it right back into that Lightroom catalog. Okay. And it's saved, so we'll open Lightroom back up, and look at this. Here's the photo we just edited compared to the starting photo. Okay, so we have before and after. Quite a difference, isn't it? Alright guys, that's about all I got for you today. If you liked what you saw and you want to learn more, go ahead and click that subscribe link and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I post a new video. Alright, till next time.